Okay, that's the mic. Let's see if we can get the webcam as well here. Hey, okay. Let's just hope it sticks there. Sticks that way. So I believe we have everything going now. Welcome to the stream. It has been a while coming this month. I feel like I tend to wait a little longer on break months to stream. That and just the fact that I have been very busy at work and things recently and never really felt like streaming. Until now, I said, I gotta do it this week. I want to do it this week. My people need me. Of course, from all my viewers. So let me just share this to anyone. And then we'll get going. It's not too much I want to talk about that happened in the previous month. I don't know, a lot of video games, a lot of gaming. Zelda, I got back into Death Stranding. There is the new Sonic thing, which is partly an old game, partly a new game, which is very good. Some other stuff that came out on PC, and there's more to come. Mario and Luigi, the new one's coming out. That's very exciting. I've slowed down a bit on watching movies for sure. I watched some with friends over the season, the Halloween season. Some pretty good horror type stuff. But I haven't seen too much in theaters lately, which is unfortunate because I think I kind of missed out on Transformers. I'm going to see if it's still maybe showing tomorrow. Going to be out during the day tomorrow. I have to work a little bit, so I'm going to see if that's still out. But other than that, haven't seen too much in theaters. Agatha All Along just ended. That's been pretty good. Sorry, let me. The air might be too loud. I don't know why it's humming so much. Okay. So that's kind of what I've been up to. What I've been watching, playing. I just finished a book, which, you know, is a pretty rare occurrence. I usually the fastest it'll take me to do a book is about 3-4 months, but I do read fairly consistently. You know, at a rate of about like 20-30 pages a week. You know, you still get the full experience. I try not to wait too long in between reading sessions. I read a book called Second Stage Lensmen, which is from a sci-fi series, the Lensman series, that started in the 1930s. I probably discussed this a little bit on stream before. But I just kind of randomly became interested in it and thought, wow, what is sci-fi from the 30s like? And it's pretty interesting and, you know, robust. The author is clearly really intelligent. There was also an anime of this once in Japan in the 80s, weirdly. Which is not why I was interested in it. I only found out about the anime after I became interested in it. But that does exist, and I'll have to check that out at some point. From what I hear, since it was made in the 80s, it cribs a little more from Star Wars than from the actual books it was supposedly based on. I should lean back a bit so my face is a little bit more visible. Maybe it's creepier, though. There's someone I forgot. I forgot Ponygon. Forgot Ponygon. Okay. So I think we should just get started here. Chapter 26. Been a long time coming. Got some big stuff this chapter. A hotel near the hospital where Dr. Riddles is recovering, Nevada. The now not dead Dr. Riddles. Zatch and Kyo are sound asleep. It's funny how they're drawn. They're not drawn, they're drawn very like fictional character sleeping where they're just straight, looking straight up. They're not on their side or anything. 4 days ago, 2 days before Gash and the others reunited with Sherry. A little timeline there. So this is all very recently. It was 2 days after the Momoto world that they got to Sherry. 2 days after that, they got to Dr. Riddles. Non-stop battles. Luckily, they seemed to heal pretty quick. The Dragon Fort, where they were with Asteron. My name is Gash Bell, King of the Demon World. It is an honor to meet you, Elder Mirage. So, we have Zatch, Kyo, Tia, and Megumi standing in front of a massive dragon, bigger than pretty much any we've ever seen before, barring maybe the final forms of Bowser-Kerga. Barring the Xeno-empowered Bowser-Kerga and maybe the Shin Barrowon version. Still, this is a very, very big dragon. With a lot of horns and a lot of scales, many of which appear to be almost kind of shiny. It's a lot of the scales also appear to have kind of turned into hair. He's clearly supposed to look very old. Thou was sired by Dawan, correct? So this is Elder Mirage. We heard a little bit about the elders of the Moto world, that Zatch wanted to meet them. There was going to be some sort of meeting of all the elders. I don't know if that still happened or if it was just only this that he was referring to. This dragon does have kind eyes, though. For leaving your dragon's perch at the top of the rainbow to come and see me, I want to express my deepest gratitude. 'Tis true that I must expend great effort in order to travel to the lower realm, but it pleaseth me to know that the danger here hath begun to subside. Gash is addressing him with so much respect despite being a king himself. This guy must be a really big deal. He's a dragon who lives on a rainbow. Seems pretty important. Maybe one of the closest things to like a living god that the Moto world has. So then, it hath been brought to my knowledge that what seekest thou is the Thunder Dragon Egg. Is that true? Finally hearing about this. Finally. That's right. I made this decision because I know deep in my soul that it's the only way we can save the demon world as soon as possible. The Thunder Dragon carries with it both power and life. Thy father, Dawan, hath once received an egg from this dragon, and thus Bao was born. But as a result, it grew into a creature with incredible power that even my father couldn't control forever. In spite of this harrowing possibility, thy connection has not wavered. Close thine eyes, and I shall bestow the mark upon thee. He's funny, he's just pointing at him. It's a very Raikou thing, I feel like. I feel like other authors would be like, the dragon wouldn't just point like a person, and with his hand coming out of the screen, coming out of the edge of the panel below him. Raikou's like, no, he needs to point right at him for some reason. So, the Thunder Dragon is not Bao. It's a separate thing that, in some way or another, birthed Bao from the last Thunder Dragon egg that Gash's dad, Dawan, received. That's pretty big. The Thunder Dragon, from what we see in this chapter, appears to be something that may not be strictly material. If it ever was, maybe it isn't anymore. It appears to maybe be something more like a force. Presumably it was real at some point if it was called a dragon. But it is something like, more mystical even than this Elder Mirage right here. And Bao was born from the Thunder Dragon egg. Zatch currently doesn't have Bao, so maybe he's looking for a new Thunder Dragon. Okay, let me make sure I can read this. It's kind of, gotta zoom in on this a bit. Big spell here. I hereby inscribe the mark upon thee that hast been passed down for many a generation. O dragon who dwelleth in the golden river, unseen by all, One of his, like, tendrils, his, like, mustache tendrils is glowing with magic. I engrave the mark that only thou canst see, and free thy from suppression. With draconic eyes reveal thy true form, and entrust the egg of rebirth to thee. It touches Zatch's head with this tendril, and a power grows there. The runes are melding together in his forehead. Magic runes just like the ones that we have seen the enemies use. So this is the same type of pure magic, you know, that can be controlled by using certain words and abilities. It can take different forms. Let the mark appear! Big shine from Zatch as he removes the tendril. Now I gotta zoom out again. Vroom! A lightning symbol appears on Zatch's head. Just like, you know, the lightning spell element that we see in every chapter cover. And the lightning symbol that has been on Bowser Karraga's head in the past. Thou may open thine eyes, Gashbeth. The inscription is complete. Nay, perhaps it would be more apt to refer to this mark as a scent. It's interesting. I wonder what the Japanese word for that is. To call it a scent, it makes it sound almost animalistic, you know? Something, like, magical, but also, like, almost biological in a way. And later, you know, he refers to it right here as a pheromone, so that's a very similar thing. As this pheromone permeates thy skin, the Thunder Dragon shall find thee, Gash. So it's something, it's not specifically the Thunder Dragon's power, it's something that calls the Thunder Dragon. However, 'tis at the discretion of the Thunder Dragon itself, should the egg be hatched within thee. Should the Thunder Dragon deem thee worthy, the egg shall produce life. Conversely, to be deemed unworthy would mean the egg shall remain unborn. You mean, I can't be sure that I'll be able to use it? He's definitely worthy, I mean, come on. Indeed, the host must be chosen. Nothing is written in stone. There mayest be times when the Thunder Dragon does not acknowledge thee. Or worse still, the Thunder Dragon that sired the egg may have ceased to exist. So he does not know if the Thunder Dragon is still alive. It's casting a lot of mystery on what exactly the Thunder Dragon is, just that it is something very old, very powerful, very mysterious that doesn't seem to specifically live in the realm of the Mamoto world, but maybe just some other, even weirder dimension. Even if fortune smiles upon thee, and thou doth receive an egg, 'tis far more than a mere spell. It carries with it the burden of sharing one's fate with an entity as precious as life itself. He was kind of already doing that with Bale, wasn't he? Thou shalt be making a pact with a mysterious being that harbors dreadful power. So even he thinks it's mysterious. Thou wouldst do well to remember this. Suddenly, something materializes in front of Zatch and Kyo. This could be the Thunder Dragon itself. This could be the Thunder Dragon egg. We don't really know. The egg is something that has to be hatched within Zatch. So I think this is sort of the spirit of the Thunder Dragon. It's observing Zatch and Kyo. Its eyes narrow. Supposedly looking at Kyo, according to the next scene. And then it's back from wherever it came. So morning, it's the continental breakfast at the Northton Hotel. Wonder if that's like an Embassy Suites. I don't know. He was looking at the spell book. Anu, good morning, Kimaro. Oh, good, you're up. What are you looking in the book for? Zatch, of course, has a lot of food. It's our new spell. Weberer Zakar. What did it feel like when you were using it? Huh? What do you mean? It's got toast just piled high, bacon and eggs and all kinds of stuff. Well, for me, was pretty bizarre. For one thing, I had no idea that the spell had even appeared in the book. This is all stuff we kind of noticed. Chapter before last. It was chapter before last, right? Yes, because last was the big reveal of Dr. Reynolds. And the next thing I knew, I was shouting it out without even glancing at the page. Yeah, it was the same for me too. I've never used that spell before, but I was still able to control it like I knew everything about it. You too, huh? I thought as much. It's so strange. I remember that moment so clearly. I was acting firmly of my own free will. But I have no logical explanation for how I was able to do the things I did. And when I look at the spell in front of me, it's right there on the page, plain as day. But I can't shake the feeling that it doesn't hold the same power as it did during that moment. So clearly, as we speculated, the Thunder Dragon was somehow possessing or empowering them. Kyo says that he was acting firmly of his own free will, but it seems a bit odd. I'm not really sure what Raikou considers free will to be like. He also said that Conchome could not make Levy's monsters act against their own free will, when it seemed to me like they were pretty clearly being controlled by him. So, not really sure what's going on there exactly, but suffice to say, it doesn't seem to particularly be a bad thing, whatever happened there. But now that power is gone, the spell still remains. It feels like something is missing. Oh, by the way, I had the weirdest dream last night. Not the weirdest dream we've seen in Zatch Bell. Weird dream? I saw this eye that was surrounded by dazzling light. And that eye was staring right at me. I think it looked over at you too, Kimaru. Huh? And me? Yeah, it was floating there, watching us for a while. And then it just disappeared. The way we handled the Weberer Zakir spell. And now your mysterious dream. Yeah, do you think the Thunder Dragon might be behind all this? Yes, I do. I'm glad to finally get some more information on this. Something I find really funny about the middle panel here. Also, there appears to be like a third bed, or I'm not really sure there's like pillows by the beds or something. But something I like is that the phone is charging on top of the red spellbook. It's not so sacred to them, you know? They've used it a lot. Seatbelt, you two? No, good morning. Hey, Apollo. So you sure you want to fly to Africa tomorrow? Yeah, I was able to reach out to Sunbeam-san. He told me he'd be tough to find because he's always traveling for work. The only ones who know his schedule are his supervisors and some trusted colleagues. But naturally, he assured me that he'd give me a call the moment he's free. And what about the remaining demons who survived out of the final 10 to decide the Demon King? Even with Dr. Riddles' help, we weren't able to get a hold of them. They're difficult people to find. But even if we can find them, and I doubt the enemy will have much luck either. Zatch is chowing down. Even so, I figured Reen and Mir would be a long shot. But I sure wasn't expecting to see Ellie's name on this list of unreachable allies. So it's very interesting to see Ellie's name on this list, as much of the speculation last chapter was that Fern is Ellie, taking a different name for some reason or another. Reen, I'm not too surprised they can't find. Myrrh, similarly, has a sort of criminal vibe to her. She was involved with the mafia. And it's cool that they even want to find Myrrh. Gorm is kind of already an ally running the ships for the Resistance. So I wasn't sure if we would ever see Gorm really be active in the story, so it's cool to know that they're at least looking for his partner. Reen, similarly, Acheron is, sort of indisposed. He's like powering this entire dragon fort, spreading his scales around it to give it defense and make it hard to find for the enemy. But maybe he'll be able to help at some point. Apparently, she and her family moved into a new place. A private investigator is looking into it, but no leads as of yet. You really should try to get some rest while you have the chance. Wouldn't want you collapsing right when we need you most, would we? Apollo, is your job going to be okay with you being away for so long? He's on this parfait. I've been able to multitask. At least this way I can attend all my meetings and other work-related stuff online. Besides, I'd much rather be spending my time with you guys. So yeah, Apollo's story was that he was sort of a free spirit who kind of just wanted to wander everywhere. I have a silly putty, by the way. But eventually he decided to take over his parents' company and become like a big CEO, which is how he has all the resources he has now. It's interesting, and kind of another example of what Raikou was talking about in the TM Lee chapter of the original series, of being realistic about what kind of jobs you can achieve and taking the opportunities that come to you even if they don't sound the best at the time. That sort of realism seems correct for Raikou. That TM Lee chapter was pretty crazy. On top of that, it feels like my chances of getting to see Rops again keep growing by the day, don't you think? We see Rops again. Yeah, I think we'll see Rops again soon. Now, come on. This is Nevada we're talking about. The Las Vegas epicenter of entertainment is just a short drive away. Why don't you and Gash go out and enjoy the dinner show tonight? You know what they say, there's no time like the present to have the time of your life. So we're going to Vegas, which is nice. There are only two places you would think that they would go in Nevada, Area 51 and Vegas. Vegas is, to me, really good, really fun. I had a great time there when I went a couple years ago. And I might go again this coming January. To me, it's just like a city-sized theme park. There's just so much to do and so much to see. And if you like gambling, that also helps. You gotta do all that responsibly, So we are at this dinner show that Apollo got tickets to. Men in black, we are aliens. So who is it? Zatch and Kyo are stunned. Kyo is stunned looking at him. He's stunned looking at Kyo. It is, as we will soon find out, the guy I just mentioned, TM Lee, a.k.a. Kyo's old teacher, whose name I think was Mr. Nakata. He has an alter ego named TM Lee, who was inspired by Tommy Lee Jones from the Men in Black movie. Speaking of Area 51. And looks like Tommy Lee Jones, that's why he's called TM Lee, who Tommy Lee Jones, pretty well known in Japan, did a very long string of commercials for coffee in Japan. And so they both clearly know who each other are. TM Lee's here in Vegas for some reason. Surprise cameo. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my special guest star, Kiyomaru Takamine! Yay! He's dragging Kyo up. My genius former student! Kyo's like, no, please, no. No, you know Kiyomaru from somewhere? So, Zatch was not there for the TM Lee chapter. He does not know. It's Nakata-sensei, my teacher from junior high, remember? Huh? I don't remember him looking anything like that guy. This is his version 2 appearance. He calls himself TM Lee. So he's got, I don't remember what this was from the original chapter. He's got like some sort of candy or clay that he's playing with in that picture. So we don't know if we're ever going to see him be Nakata again. He's now firmly TM Lee as a performer. TM Lee sensei, what the hell are you doing here? I retired from teaching and pursued a new life here in America. I'm a world-class entertainer now. My wife is here too. Say hello to Saba the Hut. So here's, of course, with Nakata, we have to see the wife, mostly known as wife, also known as Sabe is her name, I believe. Here she's called Saba the Hut. She's gained some weight, and now she is a character. She's inspired by Jabba the Hutt with a bucket of RFC, whatever that means, chicken, around her neck that she's eating from. So she seems to be having a good time. We don't hear her talk at all. This is pretty crazy. Pretty wacky as usual. Come now, Takamine. We're in Vegas. So let's perform that song I sang at your junior high culture festival back when I was still a member of the faculty. For suddenly some narration, TM Lee wanted to take this opportunity to sing with his former student. Oh, yeah, I remember it. All right, Sensei, you got it. In the spirit of kicking back and taking things easy, Kiyomaru was in a particularly good mood tonight. So we have the band striking up. Not sure what this author's note is. Is this author's note, maybe when Ray's watches this, is this just in the margin of the original page? Because like there's no dialogue or anything like that it's translating. It also says T.M. Lee's song plays to be the children's choir rendition of Green Green. So this is another thing that I would assume was in the margins. I don't know how it quite would have been obvious from just reading it. But we have them doing some really crazy dances here, as usual, for Raikou. Would not try to imitate that one on the right. You think you just fall over. And then Kyo's sort of moving, almost looks like against his will in a sense, you know? Part of him doesn't want to be doing this. He's shaking that leg. So Green Green is a song. I listened to it a little bit since this chapter came out. It's interesting, got an interesting little history. It is a Western song that somehow became a really widely known and beloved children's song in Japan after a Japanese translation, which had lyrics that were very different from the original, came out there and was shown on children's TV a lot. Reminds you a little bit of like the Frank Sinatra song My Way, for instance. Like that's like a French song, and the lyrics are like totally different between the very well-known American version and the original French version. So I don't fully remember the tune. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this out here. Kyo singing. If I sound awkward singing, that'll be in character. T.M. Lee, he's a teacher to me, but he's also from the FBI. And T.M. Lee's nose is like walking around. Hey, which is it now? Career guidance is his passion, you see. La la la. But we're riding that squad car and sing all night. Something like that. Yay! He's jumping up on stage. T.M. Lee, just slap on those shades and everything will be alright. He's got his Men in Black sunglasses on. I guess apparently instead of the Men in Black, he's in the FBI. T.M. Lee is here. T.M. Lee, coffee donuts, you say? I've just gotta have a bite. Kyo somehow knows the T.M. Lee version of this song. Maybe there's a teleprompter. I'm not karaoke. I'm not really sure. They're doing more dancing. They're trading off dance moves here on this page. This part I don't really know. Oh, I recall one time in junior high, Lee asked us during math. I'm doing a bridge. Oranges, apples, or yakisoba. Which treat costs the most to buy? A little improv there. Hey, which is it now? T.M. Lee, underneath his suit, a pair of long johns is what you'll find. I'm a man, mind you. T.M. Lee, we all adore this guy, 'cause his classes will sharpen your mind. Big ending. Oh, the crowd goes wild. They all stand up. This is just like at the Las Vegas Elvis shows. Sabe the Hut is here. Everybody's cheering. Yay! T.M. Lee's jumping up and down. What a reunion, folks. What a reunion. If you thought this chapter was going to be 100% serious, I don't know how you don't know by now to expect stuff like this. Zatch is running up on stage. We also see, if we zoom in on this last page, Ted, Coral Q, Jeed, Coral Q, Grub, and Lupa are all there in the audience. They're all cheering. Nobody is too surprised to see a robot. You know, it's probably just some crazy Las Vegas person in costume, right? And they're all cheering. Everybody's standing up. Wow, what an incredible show tonight. Meanwhile, at the Elio Stronghold in the Demon World, Momon is here. He's got some sort of board attached to his hand with a strap. He dashes in. The dashing Momon, in more ways than one, hides behind a pillar. Like I said last time, this is going to be a stealth mission, looking at some enemies. Excuse me. You can imagine the music. So from his mouth he goes. Don't exactly know what this sounds like, but it is. We soon find out it doesn't exactly make a noise. Rings go over everybody. Okay, here we go. Ponygon's time in this chapter. Hey, Bird OG-san. You can call me Chiba. So the thing you're trying to find is the demon magic the bad guys took from us? Yes, that's correct. And Momon Oji-san can do that? Momon is only 20 years old, so it would be more appropriate if you called him Oni-san instead. Obviously, the joke is that he looks quite old now. So can Momon Oni-san really do that? He's gonna look for the magic and then map it all out? Indeed. While we wait, I'll briefly explain the process behind Momon's methods for doing so. There are 3 steps that Momon must follow in order to create these maps. First, he needs to get the lay of the land. Momon uses a sonar to emit a sound from his mouth that only he can hear. The echo it produces throughout the room is then transmitted into his ears, forming an image inside his mind. So this is echolocation. You see this a lot in fiction. It is an ability a lot of fictional characters have and use. If you are any kind of media consumer, manga, anime, games, shows, you will have seen someone with this ability. It does exist in real life. Generally, bats are known for using it. That's how they kind of see in the dark. As Momon covertly combs every inch of the vicinity, this image will gradually expand until it reveals the entire area. So he has to move through the area to even see what his objective is. He already has to infiltrate it. Momon will then use a magic pen to relay the visuals he saw in his head, and the pen will automatically sketch out the blueprints as he provides it with all the details. So that makes it a little easier. He has this crazy pen with a wing on it. It's got an eyeball. And it's got a brain down near the bottom. So it is a magic pen. It's like a living pen. Reminds me of the living things from the first movie. So that map is the board he's holding. It looks like it has a clip on the top. So it might not be particular. It's not like an iPad. It is some kind of paper, I think. I'm assuming it has multiple pages, because we see that, I believe, in a bit. The second step goes like this. He jots down the general location of where the spell vials are being stored. So presumably he's responsible for taking back several vials or groups of vials from the enemy. Momon can sense the magical energy from a fair distance away, but once he zeroes in on it, he gains a better understanding as to what kind of magic it is and to whom it belongs. You see 4 spells. It is hard to tell what they are. We can kind of imagine the third one, the wing, might be Erujo, the angel like Momoto from the he was a Millennium Momoto. That is the information we so desperately seek. He's sketching out these spell elements. I did it. I found Umagon's spells. Sort of figuring out a voice for Momon now that we know who he is. I definitely had an idea what he kind of sounded like when he was a kid, which is not how the anime made him sound at all. My view is very different. Just looking at everyone. They're eating. Male combatant, female combatant. Which brings me to the third and final step, drawing a picture of the enemy who is in possession of the spell vials. Through his own eyes, Momon must have a clear view of the opposition. This proves to be a very precarious task, for if he can see them, then he runs the risk of being spotted as well. But despite the danger, Momon has never failed to complete that third step. He's very good at this. You're aware of how our enemies will sometimes carry vials with them as they move from place to place, yes? Well, this step is to ensure that they won't be able to flee with that precious cargo. Momon is fully determined to take back from these terrible thieves everything his dear friends have been robbed of. So you can see that determination. Those don't belong to you. in that case. The spell vials are in that case. So we see a couple people practicing with the spell vials. We see this big guy using one of Kikaropu's spells, the Scissor Claw spell. Or Kicklops, as we have figured out is probably his name. We see what looks like a couple higher-ups commanding some of these big guys. We see some more drawings, some more maps, drawing of this guy using Kikaropu's spell. Okay, that should be everything. Mission accomplished. Now all I've got to do is bring this stuff over to... Bing! His ears sense something. We know his ears are very sensitive. They can sense Momodo nearby, or probably many creatures. So he suddenly, something, just like he gets this feeling, a chill runs through him. And he hears maybe an echo of noise from far away. Yeah, Libra, what the hell's gotten into you? Breaks the vial holding the spell element. This one guy falls to the ground, the guy who was using Kikaropu's spell. His core breaks. He dies. One of the enemies is being killed by this crazy monster stealing these spell elements. He just crushed one, presumably was what that monster did. Killed both of these guys and stole their spell elements. What the heck is this thing? Doesn't look like a Momodo. It looks to be some sort of plant monster. This presentation of the monster reminds me a lot of Animal Land, where there's a lot of shading involved in showing the monster and not, like, show it fully. But it's got tentacles. We've seen, there's a lot of tentacles in this series with various things at the end of them. Hem also had, like, eye tentacles and claw tentacles. We have some eye tentacles here. We have some, like, weird opening mouth tentacles. We have one holding the I think, empty vial. The guy who had the vial is dead now? And I can't even sense that the magic that was in that vial anymore. What the heck is going on around here? I'm trying to think. I'm thinking, like, maybe it's because of the type of stuff he's doing, but I'm thinking, like, Solid Snake, but, like, with a weird, like, sort of, I don't know, like, a nasally quality to him. Is kind of the voice I'm thinking of. Suddenly, someone appears behind him. Didn't even notice. I found you. Very spooky looking guy. Similar appearance to many other characters. One of Raiku's, maybe one of his favorite looks is this sort of look with these kind of eyes. He's got a very high forehead, slick back hair. Presumably, this guy is somehow controlling the monster that attacked that other guy. And that is the end of the chapter. So, like I said, one of the most important things that we see in those last two pages, which I'm sure will be said right at the beginning of next chapter, though it's not said yet, is that this guy was able to sneak up on the extremely perceptive Momon without Momon detecting him. Momon did detect the monster, but not this guy. So this guy could be very, very dangerous and maybe have something like super speed or some other abilities that would perfectly counteract Momon's, even if Momon even has his normal abilities. For all we know, the only ones he has right now, he doesn't have his spells. The only abilities he has might be the abilities he was born with. So here we get a page going into the names, which I always enjoy that they do that. We're talking about, Dawan. It's sort of hard to say what a lot of these names are, as usual. Dawan, I remember, was very close to even how, I'm very not a professional. I can read some, katakana. When I read the cafe, but I didn't read it. I looked at it in Japanese, and I realized, we have a name for the king. I believe Dawan, either D-W-A-N or D-A-W-A-N was how I spelled it. So definitely, even if it is inspired by the name Dawn, you have to spell it in some way like Dawan or Dawan. It's hard to know how it's pronounced either. We've never heard it pronounced. Mir, I want to say, personally, I've always thought that she's named after the Russian space station Mir. I think she's probably Russian. She is blonde. She has ties with some sort of gang, like mafia, which there is a Russian mafia. So I've always thought that she is named Mir, and it is after the Russian space station. Gorm, Gumu was always what I read Gorm as originally. That was what it was translated as, um, by people who were not even necessarily scanning, but just like reporting on the chapters as they were coming out for the final arc. So I used Gumu for a long time with two O's. Um, Gorm became kind of the favored thing. And Gorm is like a very much like a sort of monster name, so I think it makes sense for people to prefer that. Golem is also kind of a monster-y name, but Gorm makes kind of makes sense. We get more. Not sure how many more of these I'm going to read, but it's definitely good that they're there. T.M. Lee, of course, inspired by Tommy Lee Jones. And then Libra, who presumably could be the monster that attacked them. We don't know if that monster was formerly a person and it turned into that once it just got these spells. We don't really know. But it seems like we have a team of two, as usual, except that they may be attacking their own people, which is crazy. We haven't quite seen that, not from the jump like this, not in the Momoto world. You know, we've seen Levi kind of turn against the villains after a lot of coaxing. And actually, not Levi, sorry. Levi is also possibly on the way, but I meant Blue. And, you know, Blue also has not fully committed yet, either, to being a good guy. But we know that's where she's going. Probably the same with Levi, and I'm sure we'll eventually get some guys on the good side as well from the enemy side. There's not too much to talk about this chapter. Obviously, quite a lot of it was devoted to yet another musical number, which I know they always give Reyes a lot of grief when he has to translate these. This one was to the song of to the tune of a well-known song, which I suppose must have either made it easier or perhaps made it harder to write English lyrics that match that beat. But it was fun seeing them go to Vegas. Hope they had a good time. I wonder if they went to... I wonder what they ate. There's a lot of crazy good restaurants in Vegas. From fast food, where you get like, you know, the nicest fast food location you've ever seen, all the way up to like actual really fancy stuff. There's a ton of shows, a ton of casinos. I don't think Kia would be the gambling type, though. But beyond that, we do get some very good tidbits, obviously. We finally get a look at what exactly is going on with the Thunder Dragon Egg. We're kind of learning about it as they're learning about it. We know about it, what they know about it at this point. So after we see it used this first time during the Weebarer Zakir spell, we get to see them talk about it and wonder the same things we're wondering. What kind of power was that possessed us? How do we get that back? What does it mean? Probably means that the Thunder Dragon is judging them as he was looking at them when he was looking at them as they were asleep. I think they're going to pass the test. You know, Zatch is the Momoto king. As I said, I think he's definitely worthy. If anyone's worthy, it's him. So it was really cool to see one of the Momoto elders. I'd love to see some of the others, but I have a feeling that's probably the last we're going to see. We're going to look back at that period of the time in the Momoto world before they came back to see Sherry. It said it was 2 days before, but presumably they left the Momoto world shortly after they got the Thunder Dragon Edge pheromone, whatever you might call it, and then just took a day or two to go to France. So, you know, I think next time we cut to the Momoto world, outside of Momon's current conflict, obviously, we probably won't be looking back at any of that, but we might still be at that location. You know, Tia and Megumi and all her refugees might be there, and who knows, maybe there are some other characters that we know that are there. The Dragon Fort. After that, it's just Momon stuff to talk about. And, you know, it's really cool to see Momon's abilities. He's still largely a very serious character. You know, I think the joke is that he looks silly but is on a very serious mission. He's very focused and confident. You know, I think that's sort of the joke. So Raikou doesn't need to, right now, he doesn't need to add any other jokes. There's maybe the brief joke about the kid calling him Oji-san. But right now, Raikou's not really adding anything else. He just looks silly. He's gotten, you know, pretty ugly as he's gotten older. He looks like a gorilla now, and before he was supposed to look like a little monkey. And he still seems pretty cool. You know, he's a pro at these stealth missions. We don't know how much he's helped up to now, but it seems like he's kind of got it down to a science. It's very cool ability he has. It would be cool, speaking of Metal Gear, would be kind of cool to see in a video game, being able to kind of map a 3D map out as you go through a place like that. And he draws stuff about the enemies with this magic pen. He, you know, is probably trying to figure out their strengths, their weaknesses, which spell vials they have. And a big thing in this chapter is that, of course, we have confirmation that we are leading up, at long last, to Ponygon. Not only is Momon very happy that they have found Ponygon spells in this group, but they mention that they are trying to get in contact with Sunbeam, Kafka Sunbeam, wherever he might be. So that's definitely what we're leading up to. It's probably where they're going to go next, is go to Sunbeam. And I'm assuming that, of course, there may be, given that Sunbeam was one of the top 10, more enemies to greet them wherever Sunbeam is. Aside from that, I don't really know how much there is to talk about here. Even if this villain design has kind of been used before, I still think this guy is very cool looking, and I think it's cool that he's seemingly a card going against the other cards, and that he's using some crazy monster that might be absorbing different spell elements, including Kikaropu's, to do it. So I think it's going to be an interesting arc. Very interested to see how Momon's going to deal with this guy. And before this arc ends, we might get to use this puppet for the man himself, whether he be speaking or not, and I think he will be speaking, most likely. So that is something to look forward to. I know there was just for other stuff going on in the Zatch Bell world right now, there was a Halloween event that just finished in the mobile game. I think it's pretty much it. You know, the Mochinoki department store has been going well. Oh, something that really crazy that happened is that Raikou randomly followed the account for the mobile game and was like, he tweeted, "I'm following you now. If you have any questions, let me know." And it was really weird. It almost sounded like a threat. It was so crazy that he would follow them after not really acknowledging that the game even existed at all up to now. And we don't really know why he followed them. There's some speculation as to why, that someone from the dev team might have done something that pissed some people off, and that might include Raikou. But that's really just speculation. We really don't know why he would have followed them. And if he was making some sort of threat or some sort of like, "I'm watching you guys," we don't really know what he was doing. But that was very interesting. Aside from that, we're in a bit of a down period since Volume 4 dropped. Can I read the cafe? Let me see if maybe I'll do that, right? Do we say to have the cafe easily accessible? I'm not sure. Here it is. So you can maybe read the cafe here, and then we will leave. If I recall, this is a pretty long one. This is from Volume 4. This is Gash Cafe, a place where all sorts of customers can enjoy tea and conversation with one another. Today's guests are Zillion Zibrit and Blue Scarlet. Zillion is lighting up a cigarette because he's cool. Here you go. Here you go. Zillion's order: brandy coffee with some alcohol in it, roasted sweet potato, and a meat pie. Blue's order: sorbus aria berries, more commonly known as white beam, I don't know them, sheep milk, and plain bread. So presumably she's sort of eating things, very simple things that bugs might eat, you know? What a rich flavor. She's eating, see the butterflies are eating the berries, having a good time. Your taste in food is surprisingly basic, huh? What do you mean by... Sorry, that's weird that it took the mic so long. Oh, and of course Zatch Gamer came right in. Hey, how much did I I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's cutting out now. It usually cuts out early. So before usually if it doesn't cut out at the beginning of the stream, I'll kind of ignore it, which is what happened. Hey Justin, welcome. It's funny that people are arriving now. I'm just reading the cafe before we end. I don't think I need to go back and I mean, if it was like at the beginning of the cafe when I mentioned that he had a cigarette, then that's a long time ago. If it was the second time where I mentioned that he was still eating and smoking at the same time, then maybe I can continue from there. But Zillion is just trying to lecture Blue here on some facts of life. But yeah, you guys should go back through the stream once it's over. Watch me go through the chapter. No one was in chat, but I still did it, and so I hope that you guys watch it. Paisley is apologizing to me on Discord for distracting you, Zatchville Gamer. Hey, that's what it is. No. The mic definitely did not cut out. for the entire stream. I was checking it a lot. If it did, then I don't know if I'd want to do it again. I might just call it a loss. I'll check after. I'm pretty certain that it was good for the majority of the stream up until you heard it cut out during the cafe here. Okay. Sorry for talking about Discord DMs. I realized that might be not a cool thing to do, so sorry. I wasn't supposed to do that. I think it was kind of funny and nice. Anyway, Zillion was lecturing Blue. Jamoda says, you have no idea how a young lady thinks. And Zillion continues to talk. Maybe things didn't work out so well the first time. It's no reason to think that things won't get better next time. My siblings and me, we do some pretty crazy stuff. But when it comes down to it, we're exactly who we want to be. So, if you know what kind of person you want to be, I'm sure those butterflies will help you get there. I think those critters have taken quite a liking to you. Do you really think it'll all work out? Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Heh, not too shabby, brother. And if things do pan out, treat yourself to a chocolate banana parfait afterwards. What's that? Is it tasty? More Blue, not really knowing too much about human world things. You've never had one. Well, considering how basic your order here was, I guess it only makes sense. I'm a country girl. We don't have food like that where I'm from. So not only is she not from the human world, even where she is from, she's some kind of country girl. It's a dessert that's so sweet, creamy, and decadent that it'll change your life forever. For real? I've got to try some. Oh yeah, go ahead, Zatch Bell. That's up to you. I think it was a bizarre coincidence, Actual Gamer. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know why the mic does what it does. Yeah. Girls your age try to be unassuming, but you still have those insatiable cravings. You should be chowing down on whatever delicacies you can sink your teeth into. Heh, you've got no tact at all, brother. So that's it. That's the end of the cafe. It ends somewhat suddenly. And then we have the credits for some of the assistants who helped out with this drawing of the leopard, with Brago punching Sherry's husband's car, with one of Marusha's spells that was used in the recent battle. We have some other credits from Bergenboard, General Affairs Secretary and Record Keeping, Ayaka Abe, and the new licensing division, Kento Tachiwada and Narumi Kubota. Licensing division. Good luck out there. Give us a lot. Give us a lot of content, please. Let's go. And then we have an ad for the Mochinoki department store, the online shop, which has now been open for a while, including some of the items, including the weird Big Boing shirt and the pretty cool bookmark and the D'Artagnan fairy shirt. And there you go. So then we have some more character names pages, which you can peruse on Manga Dex if you like. We have the back cover illustration of Brago and Sherry, which is, there's not much going on here. It's just more showing how huge Brago's become now. And that's it for the Volume 4 extras. So I think we're going to wrap the stream up there. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it was a little late, but I hope you'll have fun watching the stream back. Yeah, it does just end without saying anything. I don't know, maybe he's run out of characters. That's it, we're done. No more characters. So I pretty much said every single thing I got to say about this chapter. So please watch the stream back. I'm looking forward to, it's still not quite a month from now, unfortunately. It's only been a couple weeks since the chapter came out. It feels longer, but we have quite a while to go until the next one. But I'm looking forward to seeing Momon try to get his way out of this jam. So we will leave it there. Thanks to anyone who tuned in, and I will see you back sometime in December with Chapter 27. Have a good night.